return to Shabbat, we return to the high holidays and the days to come, and we return to this sacred community. I'm so excited to welcome Shabbat morning with you. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. 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 It is indeed wonderful to gather with you this morning. Good morning, Emily and Evelyn and Eli. Good morning, Suzanne and Arlene and everyone who is joining us to welcome Shabbat this morning. We do so as we wake up, as we stretch, as we give thanks for our bodies that work wondrously when they should and cause us all kinds of problems when they don't, beginning on page 76. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who formed the human body with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings. It is well known before your throne of glory that if one of them be wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure and stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh, working wondrously. Baruch atah Adonai, rofeh chol basar, umafli la'asot. Elohai, Elohai, neshama, neshama, shenatatabi, shenatatabi, tehorahi, tehorahi. Elohai, Elohai, neshama, neshama, shenatatabi, shenatatabi, tehorahi, tehorahi. And with the souls implanted within those beings, we give thanks for all of the blessings of daily life found beginning on page 80. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who opens the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captive. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who lifts up the fallen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who stretches the earth over the waters. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who strengthens our steps. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who clothes the naked. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who gives strength to the weary. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, remove sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who made me in the image of God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me free. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me a Jew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who girds Israel with strength. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who crowns Israel with splendor. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to engage with words of Torah. We do so on page 88, recognizing the list of things that are limitless, honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer and making peace among people. But the study of Torah, we are taught, encompasses them all, for indeed, if done properly, it leads to them all. Page 94, the start of Pesukei de Zimra, blessing a God who spoke this world into being. Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam. Baruch hu. Baruch oseh v'reshit. Baruch omer ve'oseh. Baruch gozer umkayim. Baruch merachem al haaretz. Baruch merachem al habriot. Baruch mishalem sachar tov l'reav. Baruch chai le'ad. V'kayam lanetzach. Baruch podeh umatzil. Baruch Shemo, ya-da-da-dai, ya-da-da-da-dai, ya-da-da, ya-da-da-dai, ya-da-da, ya-da, ya-da-da-dai, ya-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da-dai. Bishvachot vizmirot negadelcha and shebechacha and va'ercha v'nazkir shimcha v'namlichecha malkeinu Eloheinu yachid chei ha'olamim melech meshubach umfor ad shemo hagadol baruch atah Adonai melech mehulal betish bachot. We continue with words of Psalm 92 found on page 96. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodo l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודו לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך ארנן, מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודו לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. And on page 100, Psalm 150, offering thanks and praise to God with every tool at our disposal, our instruments, our voices, our hands, our feet, with all of these do we offer praise. Hallelujah, 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 El Bekocho, hallelujah, Birki Yazo, hallelujah, Big Burotov, hallelujah, Kirov, Goodlow, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 B'teka shofar, hallelujah, B'nevo v'chinor, hallelujah, B'tofu machol, hallelujah, B'minim v'ugav, hallelujah, 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 B'tzil tzilei shama, hallelujah, B'tzil tzilei trua, hallelujah, B'tzil tzilei shama, hallelujah, B'tzil tzilei trua, kol anshama, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Page 106. Yitkadal v'yitkada shemei rabba v'alma divrach irutei v'yamlik malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayedecho Beit Yisrael b'agala b'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimeru Amen. Yehi shemei rabba mevorach Le'alam u'lamei almaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yitalev, V'yithalal, Shemei Dekudesha, B'richu, Le'ela mincho berchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Damiran be'alama, V'yimeru, Amen. Page page 108. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam vaed. In the beginning, even then, a new light was sown for the righteous, a promise that your light would become the catalyst, first for order and then for hope, O God. Author of language and light, help us to use words as you have, to cast light into dark waters and draw out justice and truth. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer hameorot. How deeply you have loved us, Adonai, our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion on account of our forebears whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life. Be gracious to us, teaching us as well. O merciful one, have mercy on us by making us able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah. V'havienu l'shalom me'arba kanfot ha'aretz v'tolichenu ko mimiut le'artzenu ki el poel yeshuotata uvanu v'charta v'keravtanu L'shimcha hagadol sela be'emet lehodot lecha u'yadchecha be'ahava. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'amo Yisrael b'ahava. Blessed are you, God, who chooses your people Israel in love. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'aderech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam le'ot al yadecha v'ayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha Leman tizkeruhu v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. True and sure it is that you are our God who granted our ancestors freedom, granting it to us as well as we work to extend it to those in need. And what is the span of my life? I'm like a man having gone out of Egypt. The Red Sea parts. I cross on dry land, 2 walls of water on my right and on my left, Pharaoh's army and his horsemen behind me, perhaps before me the desert. The promised land, perhaps, too. That, I pray, is the span of my life. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot, o sefele, nora tehilot, o sefele. Shira chadasha, shebechu golim l'shimcha, al sfat hayam, yachad kulam hoduhu, v'himlichu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch, Adonai yimloch, le'olam va'ed. Tzor Yisrael, Kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, Uvdechinu mecha Yehuda ve'Yisrael, Go aleinu Adonai tzvaot shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Page 124, the start of our Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei HaKol v'Zocher Chasdevot v'Imahot Umevi Gula Lifnei Bneihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagin Baruch atah Adonai Magin Avraham Ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia Morid Hatal Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofeh Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bal Gevurot Umidom Melach Melech Memit Umechaye Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman Atal HaChayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye HaKol Nekadesh et Shimcha ba'olam Keshem shemakdishim oto b'shmei maram Kakatuv al yad neviecha V'karal zel zel v'amar Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Meloch ol haaretz, Kevodo, Adir, Adirenu Adonai, Adonenu Madir, Shimcha bechol haaretz, Baruch Kevod Adonai, Mimkomo, Echadu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu, Vehu Yashmienu, Berachamav Lehinei Kol Chai, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai Leolam, Elohayech Tzion, Ledor Vador, Hallelujah. Ledor Vador Nagid Godlecha, Ulanetzach Netzachim Kedushatcha Nachdish, V'shivchacha Eloheinu, Mipinu lo yamush leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We conclude this section of our service with a prayer for peace. Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, ve'imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Our reading of Torah this Shabbat comes to us in Parashat Nitzavim toward the end of the book of Deuteronomy. Those words we'll hear again on Yom Kippur in but a few short days to come. And the blessing before Torah can be found on page 250. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach, Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem livnei Adonai Elohechem, Rashechem shivtechem, Zichnechem v'shotrechem, Kol ish Yisrael, Tapachem neshechem v'gerecha, Asher b'kerev machanecha, Mechotei vetzecha, Ad shoev memecha. Leovracha bivrit, Adonai Elohecha uvalato, Asher Adonai Elohecha koret imcha hayom. Leman hakimotecha hayom lo le'am, v'hu yelecha le'Elohim kasher diber lach, v'kasher nishba lavotecha, l'Avraham le'Yitzchak u'Yaakov. V'lo yitechem levadechem anochi, koret et habarit hazot v'et ha'alah hazot, ki et asher yeshno po imanu omed hayom livnei Adonai Eloheinu, ve'et asher einenu po imanu hayom. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. We continue now at the bottom of page 282 with words of Aleinu L'Shabeach. I would invite you to rise in person, in place, if it is comfortable for you to do so as you find your page. Aleinu L'Shabeach Ladon HaKol, Latet Gedula Leotzer Bereshit, Shelo asanu koye haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishbechot hadama, Shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. V'nemar v'haya Adonai v'melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. Before we turn to words of Mourner's Kaddish on page 294, we turn our thoughts to those whom we have lost. We observe the period of Shloshim for Simi Abrams, Bernice Dolly Lande, Albert Viverka, and Ronald Watzman, and we mark the yahrzeit, the commemoration of the passing of Richard J. Blattner, Max Bleiberg, Albert Bloom, Lenore K. Bremen, Hilda Cantor, Dorothy Chosky, Ed Cohen, Harold B. Kramer, Edwin Gewers, Carol Hopkins, Alice Kindler, Erwin S. Koval, Stephen Kuby, Esther Levinson, Mildred Leventhal, Robert Miller, Louis Oswald, Dorothy Westerman Peresman, Joanne Quarrick, Benjamin Resnick, J. I. Resnick, Jack Rorick, Jill Renee Rose, Rose Ross, Gloria G. Rothschild, Ann Sadler, Elizabeth Schiffman, Thelma Schiffman, Sophie Z. Shapiro, Zoll P. Silverman, Virginia C. Steinberg, Fanny Stern, Sylvia Weinstein, Frida Weiss, Rosa Druyan Weiss, Bessie Cooper Weiss. On page 294, we remember them as we affirm words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevorach le'olam l'amei al-maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha barich hu, le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. It was wonderful to welcome Shabbat morning with each of you. I would invite you to join us now in Torah study here in person at Temple Emanuel of South Hills or on Zoom. That link can be found right below this Facebook live stream or in your weekly email as we take a closer look at who exactly stood this day in covenant with God. Shabbat Shalom.